what you're saying about going back to a time when there was nothing, while we don't know exactly how the universe started, the prevalent theories don't say there wasn't anything. As a matter of fact, the first law of thermodynamics is that matter and energy can't be created or destroyed. They can only change form. So that would dictate that the universe has always existed in some form.
Pero hace 14 millones de años, no había nada de esto. Hasta el Big Bang.
Water is ancient. The hydrogen atoms in here were born moments after the Big Bang. Then came everything else.
El Big Bang es el momento definitivo de nuestro universo y de todo lo que hay en él.
Say there wasn't anything. As a matter of fact, the first law of thermodynamics is that matter and energy can't be created or destroyed. They can only change form. So that would dictate that the universe has always existed in some form.
En la aurora del tiempo, el universo surge con una explosión, desde la nada absoluta al todo. En ese instante de la creación, todas las leyes de la física, las fuerzas mismas que manejan nuestro universo, comenzaron a formarse.
My answer is there's no reason to go back one step to the God. We're already justified in accepting that the universe always existed in some form. There's no reason to posit something else beyond it that always existed.
As far as we know, matter and energy can't be created or destroyed, so for all intents and purposes, as far as we're concerned, it's eternal. Now, that may not be true, but it's like what Hawking said. You true, but it's like what Hawking said. You can't go back any further, and in everything we know about this universe, matter can't be created or destroyed, so it's, as far as we know, it's indestructible. And we don't know where it began, so in my mind, it's like, why give those attributes to God and then say he produced it? Just say, this stuff, this matter in itself is indestructible and potentially eternal, so, there you go.
Typically, atheists have said that the universe is eternal, and that's all. But surely this is unreasonable. Just think about it for a minute. If the universe never had a beginning, that means that the number of past events in the history of the universe is infinite. But mathematicians know that an actually infinite number of things leads to self-contradictions. For example, what is infinity minus infinity? Well, mathematically, you get self-contradictory answers. That shows that infinity is just an idea in your mind, not something that exists in reality. David Hilbert, perhaps the greatest mathematician of this century, states, "The infinite is nowhere to be found in reality. It neither exists in nature nor provides a legitimate basis for rational thought. The role that remains for the infinite to play is solely that of an idea." But that entails that since past events are not just ideas, but are real, the number of past events must be finite. Therefore, the series of past events can't just go back and back forever. Rather, the universe must have begun to exist. This conclusion has been confirmed by remarkable discoveries in astronomy and astrophysics. The astrophysical evidence indicates that the universe began to exist in a great explosion called the Big Bang about 15 billion years ago. Physical space and time were created in that event, as well as all the matter and energy in the universe. Therefore, as the Cambridge astronomer Fred Hoyle points out, the Big Bang theory requires the creation of the universe from nothing. This is because as you go back in time, you reach a point at which, in Hoyle's words, the universe was shrunk down to nothing at all. Thus, what the Big Bang model requires is that the universe began to exist and was created out of nothing.
What is the Big Bang Theory? Because from what I understand, the Big Bang Theory was when everything started to become. That's
No, not to become.
Molecules and so forth and so
No.
on.
No.
Big Bang.
That's what you're misunderstanding the theory.
Am I really okay?
Yeah.
Basically, the Big Bang traces it back to the point where everything that exists, everything in our universe, was compacted into one tiny singularity.
Right.
Right.
Now, I don't want you to, I don't want to make the claim that the singularity was some real tangible thing there. But what we're talking about with the Big Bang is the expansion of everything from the singularity outwards, and it proceeds out at a rate that is measurable. And the force of the explosion can be measured in the cosmic background radiation. I mean, all of this stuff is scientifically confirmable. So,
Right. And it's still expanding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although it may slow down and contract.
That's all I'm saying to you, man. That's all I'm asking.
What's that?
What started that expansion? I'm asking.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, Hawking says it's untraceable at this point.
Nobody knows.
All right.
Quentin Smith, an atheist philosopher, writes, "The response of atheists to this development has been comparatively weak, indeed almost invisible. An uncomfortable silence seems to be the rule when the issue arises among non-believers. The reason for the embarrassment of non-theists is not hard to find. Anthony Kenny of Oxford University suggests it in this statement. A proponent of the Big Bang theory, at least if he is an atheist, must believe that the universe came from nothing and by nothing." But that's a pretty hard pill to swallow. Out of nothing, nothing comes. So why does the universe exist instead of just nothing? Where did it come from? There must have been a cause which brought the universe into being. From the very nature of the case, this cause must be an uncaused, changeless, timeless, and immaterial being which created the universe. Isn't it incredible that the Big Bang Theory thus points to exactly what the Christian has always believed, that in the beginning, God created the universe? Now, I put it to you, which is more plausible? That the Christian is right, or that the universe just popped into being uncaused out of nothing? I at least don't have any trouble assessing these probabilities.
What was the actual comment or point that you were going to make?
My point was, is that believe this, and I'm sure you've heard it all before. It just seems to me, an intelligent species such as ourselves, it just seems to me, man, that we had to come from some sort of intelligence, that's all.
Why?
It just seems that some type of a designer or some type of a design said, Big Bang, bang, be there. Because I kind of believe in the Big Bang Theory. I just think that it had a cause, not just something random and not just a molecule. Something caused that damn thing to go bang. And creation started, evolution started, all at the same time. That's all I'm thinking.
So you basically said two different things that are unrelated, and I want to make sure that we kind of hit both of them real quick. One you said is that you don't think intelligent people could have come from anything other than an intelligent designer.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but before we actually get to that, I think the other one may be quicker to address.
All right.
And that is that you believe in the Big Bang, but you think that there must have been some intelligent cause for it. Why do you think it's justifiable to posit a supernatural, transcendent cause rather than just accepting that it could have happened by a natural cause?
Yeah, what's natural, though, man? What made natural? What made nature? I just want to know the why behind the why. That's just how I'm designed.
You're asking the wrong questions. You're asking all the wrong questions, and all of the questions...
Well, maybe I'm talking to the wrong guy about the right questions. Maybe that's...
El Big Bang fue tan enorme que pudo darle origen a toda la masa y toda la energía contenida en los 400.000 millones de galaxias que vemos en el universo, en una región más pequeña que el tamaño de un solo átomo. En ese momento el universo entero ocupaba la millonésima parte de 1000 millonésimas de centímetro. Todo estaba comprimido en una región increíblemente caliente y densa.
Pero si la gravedad hubiera sido más débil de lo que es, tendríamos un universo muy aburrido donde todo volaría separándose tan rápido que no se formarían galaxias. Tiene que ser exacta, tiene que ser perfecta.
Para suerte nuestra, el Big Bang lo hizo perfecto, con la cantidad perfecta de gravedad. En el torbellino de fuerzas después de que surgió la gravedad, solo una fracción de segundo después del Big Bang, una onda de energía hizo erupción y expandió el universo en todas direcciones a una velocidad increíble.
Todo el espacio se expandió a un factor increíblemente grande en una fracción de segundo. Pensamos que en menos de un millonésimo, de millonésimo, de millonésimo, de millonésimo de segundo, el espacio se expandió a un factor mayor que 1 millón de millones, de millones, de millones de veces.
And the bigger thing is that as long as, even if we never had a good theory, even if everything we found just failed and never gave us an answer, that doesn't mean that God did it ever becomes viable, because that is a hypothesis on its own that requires evidentiary support.
Right. It needs to be supported. It can't just be to make a claim and then not to support that claim, or to support it simply by saying this other claim is false.
I understand. So you guys are better off in your mind, have more teeth in your mind by just simply saying, okay, you know what? This is just simply unknowable.
Correct.
Well,
I
wouldn't say unknowable.
Whereas that answer right there is going to...
Well, the answer is that the chances that the universe should be life-permitting are so infinitesimal as to be incomprehensible and incalculable. For example, Stephen Hawking has estimated that if the rate of the universe's expansion 1 second after the Big Bang had been smaller by even 1 part in 100,000 million, the universe would have recollapsed into a hot fireball. PCW Davies has calculated that the odds against the initial conditions being suitable for later star formation, without which planets could not exist, is 1 followed by 1,000 billion zeros, at least. Frank Tipler and John Barrow estimate that a change in the strength of gravity, or of the weak force, by only 1 part in 10 to the 100th power would have prevented a life-permitting universe. There are around 50 such quantities and constants present in the Big Bang which must be fine-tuned in this way if the universe is to permit life. And it's not just each quantity which must be finely tuned. Their ratios to one another must also be exquisitely fine-tuned. So improbability is multiplied by improbability until our minds are reeling in incomprehensible numbers. There is no physical reason why these constants and quantities possess the values they do. The one-time agnostic physicist Paul Davies comments, "Through my scientific work, I have come to believe more and more strongly that the physical universe is put together with an ingenuity so astonishing that I cannot accept it merely as a brute fact." Similarly, Fred Hoyle remarks, "A common sense interpretation of the facts suggests that a super intellect has monkeyed with physics." Robert Jastrow, the head of NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies, calls this the most powerful evidence for the existence of God ever to come out of science. So once again, the view that Christian theists have always held, that there is a designer of the cosmos, seems to make much more sense than the atheistic view that the universe, when it popped into being, uncaused out of nothing, just happened to be, by chance, fine-tuned to an incomprehensible precision for the existence of intelligent life. We can summarize our reasoning as follows. Premise 1, the fine-tuning of the initial conditions of the universe is due to either law, chance, or design.
2, it is not due to either law or chance. 3, therefore, it is due to design.